Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. So guys, there's some news, breaking news. The WBC have said that Artur Beterbiev must fight Callum Smith next. A lot of people are gonna feel a bit disappointed. Are gonna feel a bit angry. They're gonna feel like you know the WBC are getting in the way of an undisputed fight, which I totally agree with. I think this fight with Callum Smith is pointless at this point, and what I mean by that is Artur Beterbiev needs to fight Dmitry Bivol, and I feel like for Artur Beterbiev, I think the circumstances are favoring Bivol now, and what I mean by that is, although I think if the fight was to happen now, in the next 6 months, I would favor Beterbiev probably by stoppage. Although I think there's a big uh, um, there's a lot of people that actually think Beterbiev loses this fight now. Most people favor Bivol in this fight. I've already given my reasons why I think Beterbiev will win, but I think the longer this fight is waited, the more Bivol's chances, or the bigger favorite Bivol becomes. I think Bivol. I think a lot of people are getting misled by some of the recent fights that Bivol has had. I think Bivol fought Canelo, who's a lot smaller guy. Canelo always had trouble against fighters that could box and move. Canelo has improved, but remember, Canelo was fighting somebody that was much bigger than him. Um, Artur Beterbiev has already beaten Dmitry Bivol as an amateur. I know amateurs are a different game, but Artur Beterbiev fought Govzik, and Govzik was a guy that a lot of people thought was going to beat Artur Beterbiev. I remember at the time that they said Govzik would outclass Artur Beterbiev. And I think Govzik was another guy that he had beaten, that Beterbiev had beaten as an amateur. But a lot of people thought that Beterbiev was going to get exposed, and Beterbiev absolutely destroyed and dismantled Govzik. I feel like Dmitry Bivol is going to be the same. I feel a lot of people are getting misled by the performances that he had against Canelo and Ramirez, and think that that's what's going to happen against Beterbiev, which I can't see. And I know some people have reacted a bit funny, saying that how come this is a 50-50 fight and how come you're seeing it. That's my opinion. I've been wrong before, and one of you said that you've made some bad predictions. I mean, everyone makes bad predictions. I mean, David Hayes, a former unified champion. I mean, and how many times has he got things wrong? So I mean, people can get things wrong. I'm not saying I've also got quite a few things right as well. Not just when it comes to predictions, but when it comes to actually negotiations and how things are going to play out. So yeah, I'm not saying I'm psychic and I know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm just giving you my opinion on what I think. What I think. I'm not necessarily right, and you're entitled to your opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion. You can leave your opinion in the comment section, but I'm not saying I'm right. But what I'm trying to point out is that I feel Beterbiev is being weighted out here. He's being made to become an old man. And I think that the longer they wait, obviously the more it's going to suit Dmitry Bivol. But I don't think you need to get. I think people are looking at too much recency bias. Let's not forget when Dmitry Bivol, a couple of fights ago, when Dmitry Bivol fought Craig Richards, who would have said that he's beating Artur Beterbiev? None of you would have said. But you've seen a few performances against Canelo and Ramirez, and all of you now think that Dmitry Bivol is going to beat Beterbiev. Beterbiev, firstly, is a lot bigger and stronger than Canelo. Right? I don't think Beterbiev's a better boxer than Canelo, but Beterbiev is a much stronger and bigger, and he punches way harder than Canelo. And like I said to you, Canelo got to Bivol in that fight. Canelo just wasn't physically big enough or strong enough to really put a dent in Dmitry Bivol. Beterbiev will. he will be able to put a dent and in Dmitry Bivol. Dmitry Bivol's going to have to fight a perfect fight. A lot of you are saying Dmitry Bivol's going to stop Beterbiev. I mean, Dmitry Bivol hasn't stopped anybody of late. That doesn't mean he's got no power, but I'm saying going off his recent performances, him not stopping Craig Richards, him not stopping Canelo, him not stopping Ramirez, him not stopping Joe Smith, I don't see him stopping Beterbiev, who actually shown he's teak tough. A lot of people said Beterbiev had a glass jaw. That's obviously nonsense. He hasn't got a Golovkin chin, but he's definitely not got a glass chin, that's for sure. I mean, he's teak tough. And I don't see Dmitry Bivol stopping him. So then it comes down to whether Dmitry Bivol can outbox him for 12 rounds. And like I said, they said the same thing about Govzik, who is part of that great boxer. I mean, this is a guy that really, when Govzik was fighting Beterbiev, I mean, Govzik was higher rated than Bivol. Govzik was somebody that had beaten Adonis Stevenson, that had put Adonis Stevenson into retirement, and Adonis Stevenson was a monster. So Govzik came in with a higher reputation against Beterbiev than Dmitry Bivol, and Beterbiev dismantled him. Now, again, that was a couple years ago. So, again, is Beterbiev getting old? We don't know. I don't think so. Because I think power's the last thing to go. The only thing I worry about for Beterbiev is the fact that his feet might get slower, which obviously will result in someone like Bivol it becoming a much easier task for him. Now, I'm not saying that Bivol's not going to win the fight. Bivol could win the fight against Beterbiev. I'm just giving you my opinion on why I think Beterbiev is going to be a tough fight for Bivol, and why Bivol's not going to be able to do what he did with the other guys, because Beterbiev is going to be wearing him down physically and mentally. But coming to Callum Smith, which is a fight that has actually been made, for me, I'm not really that interested in this fight. Firstly, because I think that I want to see the undisputed fight. I'm not really interested in a Callum Smith fight. I make Beterbiev a massive favourite against Smith, and I haven't seen anything from Smith that suggests that Smith, throughout his career, that he's going to... I know a lot of people somehow, especially British fans, somehow think that Smith is going to beat Beterbiev. I don't see it. I don't see it. I know Tony Bellew has come out and said Callum Smith will knock Beterbiev out in 6 rounds. I don't see how. I mean, Callum Smith has knocked out a couple of guys that were not top-level fighters. I mean, to say he knocks out Beterbiev, who's fought at a very high level in the light heavyweight division. And let's not forget, neither Callum Smith, neither Bivol has beaten anybody that was a reigning world champion at light heavyweight. Beterbiev has. Beterbiev beat Joe Smith, and Bivol beat Joe Smith. But was Joe Smith a champion at that point? I'm not sure. Beterbiev, and not just that, Beterbiev destroyed Joe Smith, and Beterbiev destroyed Govzik, right? And we can't really look at it. It's not fair to say, well, because Bivol doesn't have the power that Beterbiev has, and Beterbiev can end the fight quickly. And just because Beterbiev destroyed Joe Smith and destroyed Govzik, and probably has looked more impressive, doesn't mean that he's going to beat Bivol, because styles make fights. However, I saw him fight a great boxer in Govzik, and I saw him took Govzik apart. I've never seen Dmitry Bivol fight anybody like Beterbiev, and Canelo is not as good a pressure fighter as Beterbiev. He's just not. And he's way smaller, and he doesn't hit as hard. I think even me as a Canelo fan, and most people that watch me that are Canelo fans will agree to that. So I've seen Beterbiev destroy Govzik. See, a lot of you guys have short-term memories on how good Govzik was. Beterbiev ruined that guy. I mean, and ended his career. Govzik was as highly rated as Bivol. It's only now that Bivol has beaten Canelo and Ramirez that people were saying Bivol's poor. There was a time where not just myself, but other people were saying Bivol's not even that great. I remember when Bivol fought Richards, and they were saying, oh, Canelo's going to destroy this guy. Not just myself, but many of you were saying that. And now all of a sudden, because he's beaten Canelo, who's not really a light heavyweight, and he's beaten Ramirez, who again was really unproven throughout his career. All of a sudden, that doesn't mean he becomes a firm favorite against Beterbiev, who's actually got a way better resume than Bivol at light heavyweight. Because Bivol's wins have come against guys that have moved up of any note. Otherwise, Bivol's, apart from Joe Smith, who he didn't look that impressive again. I mean, Beterbiev, look at what he destroyed him in 2 rounds. When Joe Smith was he destroyed him in 2 rounds. And Govzik, who is a great boxer like Bivol, I mean, Beterbiev took him apart. I mean, took his soul away. And Beterbiev has already beaten Bivol as an amateur, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, a lot of people are being misled. Now, that doesn't mean Bivol is not going to win. He might outbox Beterbiev, who knows? And we can't go off the amateurs that happened a long time ago. But yeah, I just feel like people are getting a bit misled. And with this Callum Smith situation, I think I would favor Beterbiev heavily against Callum Smith. I mean, I think Callum Smith is a good fighter, without question. I think Callum Smith is a good fighter. But I don't know whether Callum Smith, there's something missing in his mentality. And when he fights someone like Beterbiev, I don't know whether he'll go into his shell after feeling a few power shots. That's the problem that I think I see with Smith. I think the most important, I think this will be a fight that will be underwhelming because a lot of people want to see Beterbiev v Bivol. So no one's interested in a Smith fight, even though I think the Smith fight could be interesting. I just don't know whether Smith has what it takes to beat Beterbiev. I mean, Beterbiev is a very skilled pressure fighter, and we've already seen him struggle against Canelo, who was a pressure fighter in that fight effectively, and Ryder, who was effectively a pressure fighter, and he had Callum Smith on the back foot. I mean, if Ryder can do that, imagine what Beterbiev is going to do. So, yeah, interesting. But what do you make of Tony Bellew saying Callum Smith will knock out Beterbiev in 6 rounds? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. I don't see how Callum Smith knocks out Beterbiev in 6 rounds. I'll be very shocked and surprised if that was to happen. Like, I mean, really shocked. Anything can happen in boxing, but if Callum Smith knocks out Beterbiev in 6 rounds, wow, that's got to be one of the best wins of any British fighter, you know. But yeah, let me know what you think. I do think that Callum Smith has got some power there. I do think Callum Smith's got a good left hook that Beterbiev's got to be careful of. But I think Beterbiev will probably fight Callum Smith a lot more carefully. Now, Callum Smith is going to look to fight at range. You see, that's the other problem that Callum might have in this fight, is that Beterbiev isn't going to let him fight at range. And if Callum Smith isn't strong enough or hit hard enough to get Beterbiev's respect, he's going to be fighting on the ropes. And we've already seen Callum Smith on the ropes is not very good. So if Beterbiev starts pushing Callum Smith back, the fight's as good as over. The only chance that Callum Smith has got is if Callum Smith is fighting in the center of the ring. And unfortunately for all of the opponents of Beterbiev, they don't fight in the center of the ring. They fight on the ropes because he's so strong and he pushes you back. So that's the problem that Smith is probably going to face. So if Smith can keep that fight in the middle of the ring, then he probably has a chance. If it goes back on the ropes, his fight's over, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.